Students, families, counselors, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for the Virginia Virtual College Fair for all Virginia students. A few housekeeping items before we begin with today's presentation. The format of today's college fair is a 6x6 format, so each college presents for 6 minutes, and you'll notice that there are not 6 colleges in this block, but they'll still be presenting for 6 minutes, and we've got some time at the end for general questions as well. We may not have University of Louisville in this session. They had some tech issues, so if they do get here, we're going to toss them towards the end as well. So just a programmatic note. Also, as the session is going on, you are encouraged to ask questions. Use that Q&A button to submit questions to our panelists at any time. If you have a question about a specific institution, make sure to indicate that in your question. So you can ask general questions. Hey, all of the colleges, tell me about life on campus. Tell me about your students and tell me about a fun tradition. Or you can ask specific questions. Hey, Campbell University, tell me specifically about your biology program. You're welcome to do either of the two. If you ask a question, if you have a question for Campbell, you can ask it the entire 45 minutes. You don't need to ask it only when they are presenting. So feel free to hit us with your questions throughout the duration of the session. And a reminder, your camera and your microphone are turned off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. So if you have questions, the only way to do it is through that Q&A button. We encourage you to check out the rest of the schedule. We've got college fairs this week and the next 4 weeks that look very similar to this. And you can visit strivescan.com/Virginia to see the rest of the college fairs. We are also doing a full week of panel presentations. They're talking about topics about the college search, the college essay, transfer tips. All of this is happening the next few weeks at that same website. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kara from Campbell, who can go ahead and grab screen share from me and start her presentation.
All right, hey everybody. My name is Kara. I'm an admissions counselor at Campbell University, and I'm happy to share more about Campbell with you all, whether you've already applied or whether you've never heard of us before. Campbell is a 4-year private co-ed university located in North Carolina. We were founded in 1887 as a small little school called Buies Creek Academy. And since then, we've grown quite a bit to be a small to mid-size university. So as I mentioned, we are located in North Carolina. It is a small rural town called Buies Creek. As you see on the map, it's pretty centrally located and a pretty short drive to the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina, if you've ever been there. We're also pretty close to many of the other hubs in the state, including Wilmington on the coast. So Campbell at a glance, just for some fast facts for you. So although we are on the smaller side, edging on medium with about 4,000 undergrad students, we do offer a lot of things that make us feel like kind of like a big school. One of those things being the many academic programs that we offer, about 150 plus. And that's across majors, minors, tracks, and concentrations. You'll see some of our top 5 in the bottom left corner. Based on student enrollment in those programs. So biology and the health sciences is by far the biggest. A lot of students are using biology to jump off to one of our many graduate or professional schools. Business is pretty large with several unique majors like PGA golf management and trust and wealth management. We offer 3 options in engineering. We offer pretty much anything pre-law, and our law school is in downtown Raleigh. And then finally, pharmacy, clinical research, and pharmaceutical sciences are some of our bread and butter and what we're most well known for. This slide shows a quick overview of our class, some of our average numbers coming in. We've got about a 3.5 average unweighted GPA, and then some test score information below. We do boast a pretty small class size, about 20 to 25 is average, and a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Just basically that means you're going to get to know your peers, your professors, your advisors, and build a relationship with those people. And then finally, your professors are teaching you, most of them holding the highest degree in their discipline or field. So just to walk through the application process with you, it's pretty simple. Our application is free online on our website. We do not have an early deadline because we use rolling admissions. You can apply today or you can apply in April. And about 2 weeks after you submit your complete application, we'll get back to you with a decision about your admissions status. Now this year we do offer a test flex option, allowing you to submit your application for review and hopefully acceptance without a standardized test score. And for the moment, we are going to require a test score to be submitted before you enroll next August to be used for advising purposes. But if that changes, we'll let our students and prospects know. So scholarships is a huge part of the college process, especially for students looking at a private school like Campbell. And we help with that by offering pretty significant merit-based scholarships right after you're accepted. That information is mailed to you about a week to 2 weeks after your acceptance package, and it lets you know your per year amount of merit-based scholarship that you're awarded solely based on your academic performance in high school. And so that helps a lot with tuition and on-campus housing costs. So besides academics, we've got a lot going on our campus. You'll see here fraternity and sorority life, student media, student government, tons of campus recreation. I love doing that on campus when I was a student. And then of course, 21 Fighting Camel athletics. This is a full list of sports if you are interested in playing collegiate athletics, both men's and women's sports. We do participate in the Big South tournament primarily. Women's swimming is in the CCSA conference, and then our men's wrestling is in the Southern Conference. This is one of our facilities on campus. It's the Convocation Center, and inside it houses Gore Arena, where we play basketball, volleyball, and wrestling. It also houses our academic department of exercise science, which is a pretty big program for us. And then you can't miss the largest bronze camel statue in the country, which stands outside of our building. That is Gaylord the Camel, our mascot. So faith, learning, and service is a part of who we are as a campus culture. We were founded as a Baptist university, but we don't require students to come in with any particular statement of faith or background. They really have the option to make their spiritual formation journey on campus whatever they want. But this is a beautiful chapel that's located right in the middle of campus on our academic circle. So I'll leave you with our final slide here showing the student union, which was just opened this fall for our students. We do have students on campus this semester, so they are enjoying all of this awesome stuff. A lot of dining, the headquarters for student involvement, even a movie theater and fitness center. If you do have any questions now, please feel free to use the chat or the question and answer feature. Please feel free to reach out to our admissions office. And then of course, follow us on social media so you can see a day in the life of a camel with many of our student takeovers. And again, I'm Kara. Thanks for joining, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Kara, for sharing that information about Campbell. That's great. We are in the B7 session. I did just hear from University of Louisville. Unfortunately, they're having some tech issues. So we've got 4 schools today. Next up is College of Charleston. We've got Rebecca. Feel free to grab screen share from me, Rebecca. And as Rebecca's doing that, a reminder to use that Q&A to send your questions into all of our colleges. And without further ado, here's Rebecca with College of Charleston.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach, and welcome everyone. My name is Rebecca Drury, and I am an associate director at the College of Charleston, and I actually live right here in Virginia as a regional counselor for the College of Charleston. But to get into a little bit of those good facts about the College of Charleston was founded way back when in 1770. We are a public university and have about 10,000 students on campus. We are a liberal arts and sciences institution, and so we have over 140 different majors and minors for students to choose from, and students really get to pick and create their education around everything that they are interested in. If you want to double major and have a minor, if you want to have a major and 2 minors, it really is up to you and how you want to build and shape that education. With 10,000 students on campus, we're the perfect medium-sized institution. We have an average class size of 23 with a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio. And so you really do get to know your professors, you get to know your classmates, and create those one-on-one relationships that you may not often get at a larger institution. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, those are our top 5 most popular majors: biology, psychology, business administration, communication, and public health. But we have everything from classics to a brand new systems engineering major. We have a historic preservation and community planning, hospitality and tourism, and marine biology as well. All 3, what better place to study those than right in the heart of downtown Charleston. We do have students coming from 48 different states and 62 different territories. So you do get a lot of different perspectives and people on campus, creating that unique and diverse campus and student body. But we do have 19 Division I sports teams on campus, with basketball being our big one. We don't have football, but I like to think it's because we're still too busy being on the beach during football season. But we do have a national championship D1 sailing team, equestrian, beach volleyball, softball, basketball, baseball, soccer, you name it. And all of our students get into those sporting events for free. So it's very nice to be able to go to whichever game you choose and not have to pay or be placed into a lottery for those games. We then, though, have over 240 clubs and organizations on campus, whether it be a Quidditch team or an anime club, belly dancing club, you name it, we most likely have it. But we also have Greek life. Greek life, we're only about 20%, so definitely not a go Greek or go home school, as I like to say. I personally wasn't involved, but had friends who were, had friends who weren't. Just another avenue for our students to get involved on campus. The College of Charleston is located right in the heart of downtown Charleston, so it creates a very unique living and learning environment for our students. But here you can see more of the fun facts about the city of Charleston. We have been voted the #1 city in the U.S. by Travel and Leisure for 8 years in a row. So I think that goes to show a lot about what is offered at the College of Charleston, but also within the city too. Our students are constantly busy on campus, but also within the city too. Like I mentioned, we have those 3 beaches nearby, multiple art galleries, one even on our campus called the Halsey Art Gallery. The food in Charleston you absolutely cannot beat, as well as there's actually 250 plus startup tech firms. We actually call ourselves the Silicon Harbor. Sorry, Silicon Valley out in California, but we're lucky to have those great opportunities for our students in Charleston as well. And then multiple different parks. It's not your typical city in the city of Charleston with high-rise buildings and concrete jungle. So we're really lucky to have the green space surrounding us as well. And then you can see there the average weather, coming from Virginia, it doesn't change too much, but it is definitely one advantage of going to school in the South. And then this is my contact information. If you have any questions about the application process or deadlines, I'd love to hear from you. One little thing too before I pass it on is that we are offering our campus tours again. So if you are interested in coming to visit us on campus, we would love to have you. We offer tours 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. And so they are filling up pretty quickly just due to the limited capacity of those tours, but we'd love to see you on campus, or myself even seeing you in Virginia now that I live here. But thank you for having me, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing that information. Next up, we have Dickinson College. And as Dickinson takes screen share for me, a reminder about all of the questions you can ask. And also, there's another grouping of colleges the next hour from 7 to 7:45. So we encourage you to go check out the other number of colleges in the next hour. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Amy at Dickinson. Amy, you're on mute and your camera's off.
Oh, hi all. Just one moment. Let me get my camera on. Thanks for joining me. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Yep. Still
Perfect.
Can't see you though.
There we go.
There you
Sorry.
are.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amy Hall. I'm the Associate Director of Southeastern Recruitment for Dickinson College. Dickinson is a small liberal arts college located in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. That's about 2 hours from the DC, Northern Virginia area, 3 hours from Richmond, so kind of very easily accessible from where all of you are. We're about 2,400 students, all undergrads, hallmark of a liberal arts college. We were founded in 1783 by Dr. Benjamin Rush to be a resource for the new nation. So the U.S. becomes a country of the signing of the Treaty of Paris. 6 days later, Dickinson is founded. And our goal was to promote and protect democracy. And that's still core to what we do today, is we're preparing citizen leaders, engaged citizens, prepared citizens to go out into the world and make a difference. Now, there are hundreds of liberal arts colleges out there. So what makes Dickinson different? What makes us stand out from the crowd? What makes us us? And there are a couple kind of key topics we talk about when we talk about Dickinson, and they're all represented very nicely in this image right here. The first of those is kind of our commitment to a global education. For us, that's global on campus and off campus. On campus, it looks like on the top line, the way in which our majors are structured. A number of our majors are internationally themed. International studies, foreign languages are very popular. Our business major is a true international major. It's international business and management. Our goal is that when you're done with that, we could drop you anywhere in the world and you could do business, and that very much is the case. The next layer down is the way in which our student body is made up. We're ranked 16th in the country for attracting international students, for having international students on our campus. We value the diversity of perspectives in our classrooms. We think it makes it a more engaged, more educational environment. And then finally, academically, you see this commitment to a global education, the way in which we teach our classes. Our classes, for the most part, are taught with built-in global components, meaning that we couch everything in terms of why what we're doing has an impact on the world around us and why what's happening in the world impacts what we teach. So it's about understanding the purpose of what you're doing and why that fits in a bigger picture. So a good example of this is our immunobiology class. It talks about the science of vaccines and antibodies, but we also bring in professors from Africana Studies to talk about implementation strategies in West Africa, thinking about how we can respect cultural norms in everything that we do. It's this awareness. The other side of global ed is study abroad. We are highly ranked for study abroad. Between 60 and 70% of our students do go abroad as Dickinsonians. They usually go abroad in their junior year. We run 18 of our own programs in 15 different countries. Each one has a Dickinson professor there. We aim for cultural immersion, so we're in smaller regional centers, but all the classes that you take at our programs transfer back for credit at Dickinson, so you can go abroad and still graduate on time. The second big bullet point at Dickinson is a commitment to sustainability. So we are ranked #1 in the country for our commitment to sustainability. We're one of the first colleges to go carbon neutral in the country. We accomplished that in late 2019. And we do this in a number of different ways. We do it in the way in which we run campus. So with that carbon neutrality, with the way in which we use and build our buildings, but also within our curriculum. So every single student at Dickinson is required to take a class in sustainability. And sustainability is a pretty broad meaning for us in terms of that. It's the question of, do we want the world to look like it looks like right now in 10 years? How about 20 years? How about 30 years? And most people's answer to that is no, we want it to look a little different. And so the question is, how do we improve? What do we need to be aware of? What do we need to teach? And that is what fits within that category of sustainability. So it covers classes in the environmental sciences, environmental studies, but also in music history. We have a music history class about protest music in the 1960s that meets this requirement. It's all about engaging with this issue of human society, natural society, and how do we sustain and protect it, going back to that initial goal of protecting and preserving democracy. We also have a number of different other kind of mixtures of sustainability. We have a Dickinson College farm at 6 miles from campus. It's 180 acres. It's a working farm. The food's served in our dining hall, but it's also a lab space. It's a classroom space. It's a social space. We want our students to be engaging with this topic in as many ways as possible. And then our third big bullet point is this idea of our motto is a useful education for a common good, that you should be engaging in your education. You should be using your education. It should be an education that will be, like I said, useful for you after you graduate. And so that looks like a couple of different things. It looks like a very hands-on education with an 8-to-1 student-faculty ratio, an emphasis on internships. 94% of last year's class completed an internship. Our goal is that 100% of the students on Dickinson's campus will have that hands-on experience, will have an internship internship. We provide funding for students who are doing unpaid internships to make sure that there's no barrier to doing an internships. It also looks like our Center for Advising Internships and Lifelong Career Development. We tie all of those pieces together so that none of them are scary. When you go in to have your first advising meeting, you're also going to be able to meet with the Career Center. You're going to meet with our internship coordinators, so that you're able to have access to these things right off the bat at Dickinson. From the moment you step on campus, we're thinking about how to get you getting your hands dirty doing what it is that you're learning about, so you can make it your own, and so that when you graduate, you can go out and get a job. And that leads to, I think, which is a very important stat for us, which is 98% of our students are either employed in graduate school, doing service, or doing an internship within a year of graduating. We want you to go out and engage the world with your Dickinson education. So how do you get into Dickinson? How do you do this? We are a common application school, us and hundreds of other colleges out there. For those of you who are coming up through the admissions process, the Common App is going to be your best friend, get to know it. But we are a Common App school, no extra supplements. We offer optional interviews. Inside our tip for admissions, if you see the word optional before interview, cross it out, just do it. An interview is super helpful in terms of making sure that you get to know the college and the college gets to know you if they're offered. We are a test blind school. So we have been test optional for a long time. This year we have announced we're going test blind. It's a lot of hassle right now to take a test. It's very nerve-wracking if you even have access to the test. So we say, don't worry about it. Just don't submit it. We won't see it. Even if you do submit it, we don't see it. We are completely test blind. We also meet 100% of demonstrated financial need, and you find that out with your application acceptance. But most of all, get to know me, get to know the college, and keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing that information on Dickinson. Appreciate it. And last but not least in this grouping, we've got Kristen from Waynesburg. Kristen, go ahead and grab screen share from me. We will have time for general questions at the end, so please feel free to use that Q&A and type your questions in, and I will have Kristen take it away.
Alrighty, thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Kristen Friday. I'm an admissions counselor here at Waynesburg University. So Waynesburg is a small Christian university. We are in the southwestern corner of Pennsylvania. Let me just pull that into presentation mode. There we go. So we're a liberal arts private school, four-year university. We were founded in 1849 by the Cumberland Presbyterian Church. So we do have a Presbyterian background to us. And our mission here is to educate students to make connections between their faith learning and service. So faith on campus is a big aspect of who we are, but it is an optional aspect. So you engage faith on your own terms and at your own pace. But we do have a few different things I wanted to talk about. So our campus ministry center is located in our Stover Campus Center, which is right in the middle of campus. So a lot of students will walk through there throughout their day. There's often free coffee and Chinese food or donuts. They get a little crazy, but it's fun. Fellowship of Christian Athletes is for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether or not you're playing a varsity sport at Waynesburg or not, you're welcome to attend. We do also have a weekly chapel service that's about 35 minutes, which I think is great for time span wise and attention span. So those are Tuesdays, like I mentioned. Right now we are actually live streaming them as well. So if you're interested, you can check it out on a Tuesday at 11. Upper Room was one of my favorite things at Waynesburg. This is an all student-led worship service on Sunday evenings. So Sunday mornings, we do encourage students to plug into a church in the area. On to learning, we are on the smaller side for schools. We have about 1,400 students overall. So you're looking at a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio and about 16 to 25 students in a classroom. I did include our majors here with us as well. We have about 70 plus majors and minors, different concentrations, things like that. Our top 5 would be nursing, criminal justice, forensic science, business, and education. So if you're interested in any of those 5 in particular, I really do recommend checking us out just to gather some more information and see if we could be a good fit for you. In terms of athletics, we're a D3 school, so it's nice to bring that comfort zone with you and have that sport you've maybe played your whole life, and be able to do that in college. So there's a lot of options there for playing a sport. We have intramural sports as well, so that's an option. In terms of scholarships, we do offer each student a scholarship when they come in to Waynesburg. So these range from $6,000 to $16,000, which you see here. Out-of-state students do receive an additional $3,000 scholarship to kind of offset that state grant that you won't receive by coming out of state. We do have some competitive scholarships as well, so this is a nice option when you get accepted. The Bonner Scholarship is a service-based scholarship and a need-based scholarship. You do about 8 to 10 hours of community service each week, and you do that for all 4 years. The Stover Scholarship is for students who have an interest in political science, government, and history. Doesn't matter what your major is, and you're a part of a group of about 5 to 7 for each year. And last here, I wanted to go over our tuition, fees, room, and board for 2020-2021. So they came in at right at $37,530. So that's including tuition, all of your fees, your dorming, and your meal plan as well. This can seem like a big number, but it does come down fairly quickly if you're landing in that top tier scholarship of $16,000 and you got that state scholarship coming from Virginia as well. That's $19,000 coming off of that right away. So it does cut the costs pretty significantly right off the bat, which is our goal for you. We want it to be affordable. But I do like this graphic as it does show you where we get all of those numbers as well. And if you have any other questions throughout this process, my information is here. We're more than happy to help in any way that we can, but I am the specific admissions counselor for the Virginia state and many other states as well. But yeah, I'm happy to help in any way that I can. We are grateful that you're here tonight with us or watching later on.
Great. Thank you so much, Kristen, for sharing that information. I'm going to invite all of my colleagues to join in with their cameras and microphones on. We're going to get set up in gallery view, so like the Brady Bunch. And there we go. I'm going to have a question for all of you, and I'm curious to know of your answer. So what is your favorite thing about your institution? If you had to pick one thing that's your most favorite thing, give me your most favorite thing. And we're going to go in the same order that we presented in. So Kara, what is your most favorite thing about Campbell University?
Yeah, well, maybe besides the camel mascot, I would just have to say the students. They're so involved in everything, a little bit of everything across campus. So whatever you're into, whoever you are, you're very likely to find your fit at Campbell. So the best way to see is come visit.
My ears perked up when I heard about your Campbell mascot. That's awesome. Rebecca, what is your favorite thing about College of Charleston?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things, because I have many, but I'll stick to one, is going to be how we graduate. We do not graduate like other institutions. We actually graduate right in the cistern yard right behind me, and we wear all white. So we do not wear cap and gowns. The women tend to wear white dresses, white jumpsuits, and carry 6 red roses to symbolize the first 6 women who graduated from the college. And the men wear white dinner jackets with a red rose boutonniere, making it a very traditional, very unique ceremony for all of our students to enjoy.
Awesome. Amy, what is the most favorite thing about Dickinson College?
Yeah, so my favorite thing is the nature of the relationship between students and faculty. Lots of colleges will tell you, especially liberal arts colleges, that you'll have, dinner at faculty members' houses, that you're gonna get to know them really well, you call them by their first names. That's absolutely true at Dickinson, but it's a little bit different at Dickinson. Dickinson, we hire faculty who treat students and view students as intellectual equals. So we require that faculty present all of their research as they're doing it to their students. They take student feedback in everything that they do, and we require that all faculty members use students in their research. So even as a first first-year student, you have guaranteed research time with faculty members if you want that. So, it's a sense of intellectual equality, that you're less minds to instruct and more minds to give the same tools that they have to. And there's a deep sense of respect from our faculty for the intellectual capabilities of our students.
Excellent. Kristen, most favorite thing about Waynesburg University?
Yes, I also have many, but I would say the fall season. We have a lot of trees on campus, and it is just so beautiful starting this time of year. There's one in particular sidewalk where there are trees lining the entire sidewalk, and the minute that they start turning, people just sit there. There are benches, people bring their hammocks out while it's still kind of warm. So just the nature that is on our campus, and the events that we do outside, especially in the fall. Pumpkin bowling, the president comes out every year. It is a blast.
I love that. Excellent. And one more question for everyone. We'll go in the same order. What is one piece of advice you have for a senior starting the college search process right now? One piece of advice that you're willing to impart your knowledge on them as they're going through the process. Kara, one piece of advice you've got for a senior starting the process.
Hey, I might advise just to start, just get going. I know this year is weird and you're probably overwhelmed with virtual everything, but if you go ahead and apply, and many schools are rolling admissions, so you can get an acceptance hopefully very soon, and that's going to feel really good having that already, and then you can continue your process of doing research and deciding exactly where you want to go. But it's always going to feel good to have an acceptance or two already.
Excellent. Rebecca, piece of advice.
Yeah, my piece of advice is for you as the student to really take ownership of this process. It's not your parents or your grandparents going to school, but it's you. So of course, they might have some influence on the cost and everything, but ultimately it's you going to be the one at that college or institution. So really be the one to reach out to the admissions counselors and current students, and of course visiting. But really just take ownership of it, and we know that you'll land in the right fit.
Amy, piece of advice for the college seniors, or for the high school seniors about college.
Yes, ask questions. There is no need for you to go through this process feeling confused. There's no need for you to go through the process wondering. If you're applying to school and you have a question about it, reach out to the admissions office. Ask them. If you're filling out financial aid forms and you're confused, reach out to financial aid offices. Ask them. We are all here because we like working with high school students. That's why we all work in college admissions. So reach out to us. Truly use us as resources. You should never, ever feel like a question is too small or a question is too uninformed to ask.
I love that. Kristen, one piece of advice for seniors going through the college search process.
Yes, so my piece would be to find the place that feels most like home to you. And that doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be exactly like your current home, but when you're doing visits and overnights to campus, if we can ever have those back, the place that feels most like home to you is where I recommend you go. It's going to become your home for 4 years and maybe longer if you fall in love with it. So you want to be happy, you want to be comfortable, and in a place where you can see yourself being for at least 4 years, if not longer.
Awesome. Thank you so much, colleges and reps, for sharing this information with the students. Students, thank you for tuning in for today's session. We hope you learned a little bit about these institutions. We hope you check out the strivescan.com/Virginia website. We are doing these virtual college fairs for the next 3 weeks, and then we are doing panel presentations as well. So colleges will talk about the essay and transferring and other topics that are relevant as they're doing the college search. So we encourage you to check out the full program, strivescan.com/Virginia. I'm going to thank my colleagues for joining us this evening and thank the students as well. Thanks, everyone. Have such a great night. Bye-bye.